As you can see, a new setup over here. I bought this whole forest so that I can record movies. No movies. So I can record videos just for you. Yes, I'm becoming a YouTuber. Yay me, yay me, yay me. But anyways, today I want to talk about 3 things that you, as a game developer, should never do and that you should avoid. So yeah, I mean, that's the title of the video. What else I'm going to say? So number 1 is perfection. Now, this is for beginners as well as for people who are experienced in creating games because, let's face it, you will never reach perfection. Especially if you're just in the beginning and you're learning and you want to, let's say, create a small game while you're learning and you're just trying to perfect it, that's never gonna happen. So just leave perfection out of your learning, leave perfection out of your games, because that will make you procrastinate, because you always have something new to add to your game, a new feature to add to your characters, whatever. But I've seen a lot of people procrastinating, taking a lot of time to create their game, taking a lot of time with their learning because they want to perfect a certain thing. I don't know what, but that's how it goes. So that's the number 1 thing that you should avoid. Perfection is a no-no when it comes to development. Now, the second thing is that you should avoid comparison. Now, what does this mean? I'm guilty of this, so I'm gonna just admit here, I'm guilty of this. I know I watch other YouTube channels who do similar content as I do, and I'm comparing my content to their, but I'm like, why am I doing that at all? There is no reason for me to do that because I'm doing my own thing, they're doing their own thing, so it's the same thing in development. If you see somebody, you're learning, let's say you're a beginner and you're learning, and you see somebody learning at the start at the same time as you did, and he progresses a little bit more than you, don't compare yourself to him because people are different. That also goes to your games, and while you're creating them, don't compare them to other games, especially don't compare your games to like AAA titles because they have millions and millions of dollars of budget and you and I don't. If I had millions of dollars, I would not be recording this video. Let's face it. I mean, I'm just being honest. But anyways, just avoid comparison. Don't compare yourself to others. Be that if you're learning to code or if you're creating a game. And the third thing, which is my last thing, that is avoid complexity. Why? Well, don't try to overcomplicate simple things. I have people coming through my studio here in the forest. I had to cut out the video, but the third thing that I want to talk about is complexity. Avoid complexity at any cost. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say you want to create some feature in your game. Let's say you want to create a main menu in your game. Don't overcomplicate it. Break it down into smaller parts, because if you look at some part of your game or your game as a whole thing, then it will look complex. Because if you try to create, let's say, a first-person shooter game, you look at the finished game, you have your character who shoots other characters who are AI or maybe a multiplayer game. That looks complex and it's hard to create. But if you break it down, first you create your player, then you make him shoot, then you make him, I don't know, move. After that, you add AI characters, make them move, detect where the player is, make them shoot. You see, you do things step by step, one part at a time. It makes it less complex and it makes you want to work on your game. Because again, as I said, if you look at the thing as a whole, it will look like a mountain that's going to fall on you. And that's when you lose your will to start working on the game or even start learning how to code and make games. Because if you look at that process as something complex, instead of breaking it down, like first learning what are variables, what are classes, what are functions, how does object-oriented programming work, then start to create a small game. When you do these small steps, your learning journey will look much, much easier. So these are the 3 things that you should avoid as a game developer, be that again as a beginner just starting to learn or as an intermediate game developer who already has created his games. If you look at these things like I just explained them, your game development or game developer life will look much easier. Anyways, let me know what you think about this new setup. Do you like it? Maybe I will do more videos outside, but of course, you will have to pay for this studio. Anyways, Far here from outstudios.com. A car is coming, so I had to cut that video, and I will see you guys in another video.